What's up? It's been a while since I've done my last video. I've like moved across the country and living in a new place and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to do any videos recently. So I'm getting back for the first time in a long time. So I'm gonna do something pretty simple. I'm just gonna try and create a grenade that explodes and does damage based on how close you are to whatever it is. So I'm going to create like a little dummy that's going to take damage, and I'll see a print string so you can see how much damage it's taking. However close the object is to the grenade is how much damage is going to be inflicted on it, with its base damage being around the maximum health of whatever I'm going to be creating. And then however far away it is, it's going to take less damage. Alright, so let me create a new project here. I'm going to do third person. I'm probably not going to create all the animations for things and whatnot, like throwing it or whatever. I'm just going to show you the logic for the actual grenade itself and it being projected from the character. So I'm just going to call this grenade. And third person, I'm going to hit create. Alright, we loaded up, and you know I like to have a full screen, so I'm going to hit Shift F11 after I click on it. Shift F11. And now we can hit nothing. Now we can actually start creating stuff. So the first thing I'm going to create is the grenade itself, which I'm basically just going to make it a ball. I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to hit blueprint class, and it's going to be of type actor. And I'm just going to call it BP underscored grenade. Double click on that. And I'm going to dock this up here. Save that. And now, let me drag this out a little bit. I'm just going to add a sphere here. And this is going to be our grenade. I'm going to scale this down because I already know this is going to be huge. And I'll just do this. I hit this up here, which is the scale thing. I think it's by this on default or this. I don't know. But just click this so you can scale it down. And you want to aim for the white one, which will scale the whole thing down evenly. I'm going to do like 0.25. And that's all I'm going to do with that. And I'm going to go into the event graph here. And here we are going to, on event begin play, because when we're throwing this grenade, we're spawning it. So as soon as this grenade gets created, I want all the logic to occur, which is going to be the delay for however long it takes for this thing to explode, which I'm going to make it like 5 seconds, which I mean is pretty standard for a grenade. I mean, it might be a little bit long for this, but nah, that's fine. The grenade explodes around like 5 seconds. So then I'm going to spawn an emitter, which is going to be our explosion. Spawn emitter at location. Did I get the default stuff? Okay, so when you're back at the main page, you need to click starter content when you're loading in your project so that you have the explosion. Did I do? I did it. I did it. Okay, cool. But sorry to tell you this now. Hopefully I remember to put a little message on the other thing. But yeah. You're going to need the starter content in order to get this explosion. Alright, so I'm going to grab from the sphere, because this is going to be our explosion location here. Actually, I might want to attach it to this. So spawn emitter at attached. So I just want to attach it directly to the sphere, and that way I don't even need to worry about the location. Still need the explosion though. Explosion, I'm going to scale this up a ton because I already know it's small because I've used this explosion a lot in other tutorials. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get the world location here. get world location, and I didn't click that. Get world location. I did click that. Okay, this one. So I want the damage to be applied from this world location. I don't need the world location for this because I already have it attached to the component. So all I need to do is now I want to, can I do it off of this? Yeah, apply radial damage. And what this is doing is it's applying damage in a radius around this explosion. Pretty self-explanatory, actually. And I'm just going to make the base damage 100 because I'm going to make the actor's health 100. And I'll show you how the explosion being further away causes less damage. So the damage radius is going to be, I'm just going to make it 1,000. Huge radius. I actually don't know how big that is in terms of, I think I actually have to see it, but yeah. If you click the, if you check mark the do full damage here, it will actually just do the full 100 no matter how far away you are from the object. I'm going to leave this unchecked because I kind of like how being further away from the explosion causes less damage, and it's interesting to show. Okay, so off of this sphere, I want to now destroy the component because it is no longer, after the grenade explodes, it's no longer in one piece or there. All right, so compile and saving that. And that's all the logic that I'm going to do for the grenade. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go into the third-person character, and we're going to make it so that I am now spawning these grenades, or a little bit like launching them a little bit, so that they, you know, go towards the enemy. And let me just create a blueprint class, and just kidding, I already have a third-person character because this is the third-person character template. Go into third-person blueprints, and you have your BP third-person character here. Let's go down here, and under here we're gonna get keyboard key, and you can just click this for the input key. It didn't matter which keyboard key you picked because we can just change it easily here. So I can click here, and then you click whatever key that you want to throw this grenade. For me, I'm just gonna make it the mouse click. So I'm just gonna mouse click, and I'll do left mouse button here. So on pressed, I now want to spawn actor from class. And that class is going to be the BP grenade that we just created. So underscore grenade. And for this transform, we want it from our location. So I'm just going to say mesh. So the mesh's location, I'm going to get the world location for this. Get world location. And let's see. Let me see what my character looks like. Arrows. Huh? Oh, sorry. My bad. So here you can see from the mesh where the location is of this thing. So it's going down the y-axis. So I need to fix the rotation on that if I'm having it impulse from the front. Okay, so I'm just going to, since this is going up, this is where it's going to be spawning, I want to spawn a little bit higher. So if I go to, if I go to my event graph and I split this structure pin, I'm going to, I'm going to split this transform as well. Split structure pin, and then I need to split the location. So I want the X and the Y to stay the same, because that's going to be centered on my character on the X and Y axis. But for the Z, I'm going to add, you can do plus or you can just look up add, 150, because I believe that's going to be like halfway up the character. We'll see in a second. So this is going to be the spawn location. So I put 150 on this because I am moving up the z-axis of where I want it to spawn. And then I want to grab off of this, and we're going to get the rotation so it's going to rotate in the right direction, because it's a little bit off on the rotation aspect. If we look here, I can click here. Sorry, I did it again. I click here, and you can see that it's a little bit... So this way is kind of the front. So I need to like kind of rotate the z-axis a bit. So if I go into the event graph here and I'm going to split this structure pin, I'm going to get the forward vector for this. Get forward vector. I'm going to do it off of this, get forward vector. And the reason I couldn't pull it directly off of this because it's this instead. So I need to split this. And now we can input the roll and the pitch, which is the X and Y. But for the Z, I'm going to add 90 to it. Add. And then we're going to add 90 to this Z-axis here. Let me attach this here. And then I'm going to add an impulse here. So the impulse is like a force that you're projecting outward. If I pull off of here, I can get the sphere. Get material sphere. Not material. I want to add the impulse here. Add the impulse. And the location's right here, so I can just drag this off of here, and I want to multiply the amount of impulse that's going to be projected from this grenade so I can force it out. And so let's see, multiply. I can actually just right click on this and make this a single precision float and multiply the impulse. Compile and save. And that should be good for spawning the grenade because it explodes on the other one. Okay. I think it should be good. Wait, let me hit play real quick and see how this goes. Oh. Wait, what? Well, it exploded, but it is not moving in any location. Grenade has to have simulate physics enabled in order to do that. Okay. So we actually need to go back into the grenade and we need to simulate physics. And I can just look it up here. Simulate. Maybe the sphere itself. My bad. Simulate physics. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see. Okay. It looks like it's colliding with me. So, if I go back here and I go to collision. I didn't even see collision. Dude, do I have to look it up? Am I blind? Oh, it's right here. Let's go. We'll do custom. Custom, and then where it says pawn, we're gonna ignore pawn. Alright, let's see how that goes. Okay. So it launched it not very far. How heavy are these grenades? Let's see. Simulate physics, mass. 4.83 pounds. That is a heavy freaking grenade. Okay, so as soon as I click this, okay. So grenades are around like 1 to 2 pounds. So if I just make this 1 pound, how is that gonna look? Okay. Nice. All right. So that's good. But now I'm going to need to have a target that can actually take the damage. So let's create a little dummy here. Let's go blueprint class. I'm just going to do an actor. BP underscore. I'll say target dummy. Blah, 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 whatever. All right, so target dummy. Let me save that. Add a cube here, and I'm just gonna leave it like this. That looks fine to me. All right, so now I can just go into my event graph and I don't need this. I'm just gonna do event any damage. Event any damage. And this is going to take the radial damage you already have, because that automatically applies radial damage to anything that has any damage event on it. So I don't have to do much with that, but I do have to create a health. And I'm going to make that of type float, and I'm going to get the health. Ooh, wait, let me compile this. I'll make it 100 because that's what I made the grenade damage to be. Then I'm going to subtract the damage from the health when it takes the damage, and I'm going to set it. Actually, let me do this. Set it here, and that's going to be the new health. And then once I set the new health, I'm gonna print string it. This is just for us. Nobody sees print strings except for us. Okay, I don't want that for duration. You just drag and it automatically change it from a float to a string so that you can see it. And I want to take this, and if this is less than or equal to 0, I want to destroy the target. And I'm not gonna have anything crazy with it, I'm just gonna make it disappear. So, destroy actor. All right. Let's see how this goes. I didn't put it in the world. All right, put it right here. Down. All right. So let me throw a grenade. Boom. All right, and that took like a good chunk of its health out because that was really close. Let me throw another one. That's right next to it. It's probably gonna destroy it. And negative 22 to spare. Right, let me try this again, and let me try to throw this like really far away from it. Is that too far away? It's a little bit far away. Oh, that might be too close. Oh, it still has 63 health left. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much worked the way I wanted it to. So, yeah, it's good to be back. Thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good one.